Ladies and gentlemen, my name is TotalBiscuit. I'm here to ask and answer one simple question. WTF is Guerilla Bob? Guerilla Bob is a top-down dual-stick shooter by Angry Mob Games. And in many respects, it looks sort of fairly generic. However, its big feature is the fact that it has cross-platform multiplayer, which is actually really impressive, because you can play cross-platform with a phone. Now, that's kind of cool, because I've never heard of that being done ever, honestly. I don't know if it's been done before, but that's crazy. Basically, you can do cross-platform play between PCs, Macs, Android phones, and iPhones or iPads. That's pretty crazy, honestly. That's an amazing innovation. I love that idea. Look at that. There you go. There's the description. Whatever the case, I'm gonna play a little bit of the single player. I'll keep an eye on it, and I'll let you know if it's actually worthwhile. The funny thing about this game is that it's got a massive price difference between the PC version and the Android version and on the App Store. It's kind of weird, but there we go. Okay, we're gonna go on to mission 2 right here. Graphic style's kind of neat, honestly. Nice sort of cartoony style going on right there. Now, you do have to buy your weapons, and I don't have enough money from the first mission to actually get anything, so I'm gonna stick with this little machine gun thing at the time being. There is also an upgrade feature for it. The perspective's sort of kind of weird, actually, and if you're firing from this direction, sort of Ikari Warriors style, then you can see the bullets and the enemies coming a mile away. However, if they're behind you, or if you sort of try and flank them, you get in a position where you can barely see them. You see how the perspective shifts right here? Makes it much more difficult to see. Like, for instance, have a look at where that lamppost is. Yep. Now, if we move here, we're closer to the lamppost, but we can't actually see it. That's because the perspective sort of warps and shifts a lot, and it's a little bit weird. It's not ideal for the purpose, I'm afraid. Okay. This is a bit bloody pain in the ass, isn't it? Now, you can't shoot past those sandbags, as you would sort of guess, so get some strafing action on right here. There we go. Again, you can't see him, you see? Moving to a position where it's impossible to see your enemy, and it's sort of just spraying in the vague direction. I suppose with a game like this, it's kind of alright, but then again, you don't know that. I mean, I don't know what precision is going to require in the future. I mean, for instance, there's an enemy right there, and I have no idea where he is, so I just sort of have to spray in the vague direction where the bullets are coming from, so I'm not massively impressed by that, if I'm totally honest with you. Now, I think the game will probably get more interesting as we get more guns, so I'm going to try and get through this level as quickly as possible. There are 2 difficulty levels. There's easy and there's hard, so I picked hard, which is probably a terrible idea. It's 2:30 in the morning as I'm recording this, and I'm barely awake, so I don't exactly expect to play all that well. It could be worse. It could be the ball. You know, half of recording that video was to see how many people I could troll with it, because I know I'm terrible with puzzle games. I don't know how many of you know this, but I'm actually dyspraxic, which doesn't really help. I mean, it causes a bunch of issues with perceiving things which should be kind of obvious, as well as various other symptoms, but whatever the case, it makes things like that kind of difficult, which is the reason I don't play puzzle games most of the time, but I think some people are entertained by the rage, other people absolutely despise the rage and get incredibly annoyed by it. Yeah. Also, I'd like to point out that it's much easier to spectate a game than it actually is to play it. I mean, I was watching that video, and in hindsight, it's really, really obvious, and it would be to anyone watching it, but in playing it, not so much. The funny thing is that some of you were saying, oh, well, you know, that pressure pad. I didn't think the pressure pad was actually working, because I couldn't hear any noise when I stood on it, because my sound was down so low. So, yeah. Probably the reason. Well, whatever the case, I'm terrible at puzzle games. I don't think I really have to apologize for that. Everyone's got genres they're not so great at. Much better at fighting games, much better at FPS. Alright, dual-stick shooters. Not amazing at them. But then again, you know, games like Guerilla Bob are not amazingly designed in that regard. I suppose I should probably talk about the price point while I'm chewing my way through all these sodding enemies, because obviously there's not an awful lot really to do in this mission. I'm trying to kill as many enemies as possible so that I can get cash. Get away from me! Oh god, these things remind me of Serious Sam. Thankfully the AI decides to just stop them there for no reason. I'm alright with that. Go on, just die horribly. I think there might be score multipliers. Yeah, I'm fairly sure there are, so getting hit actually resets them. This is really, actually kind of hard. This is probably my own fault for picking the hard difficulty thing. Should have done easy for this particular video, but hey, do it intense, folks. Yes, live inside your character, get hardcore. So the price difference between this is the PC version's $10. The Android version is about $2.99, and the iPad and iPhone version is $5. That's a fairly odd disparity. I'm not really sure why that disparity exists. I mean, the PC version doesn't seem to add anything, as far as I can tell. Oh, thankfully I've got tons of lives, so I might as well just sort of trounce my way through this mission as quickly as possible, so that I can at least show you the other weapons in the game. He says that they get shot to pieces. Not a good idea. Apparently you can get stun-locked in this game very easily. Let's not do that. Go away. God, they just keep throwing enemies at you all the time. Yeah, the disparities is all weird, because, as I said, the PC version doesn't seem to offer anything, and then there are graphics options, you customize it. The PC version obviously looks better than the iPad version. I think it looks about the same as the Mac version. There are other things to say about this game that don't make it amazing. I mean, for instance, the dual-stick shooter play is alright, but it's nothing special. I mean, it's just average. Completely and totally average in every way. I don't really like the fact that the bullets move so slowly and they look ridiculous. The graphic style's kind of neat. And the humor of it, and like stuff like this is kind of cool. I like that. There's some style to it. But the actual gunplay, at least in the early game, is not that great. I think it'll get better once you get upgraded weapons and things like that. But at this stage, I don't really care for it all that much. I think the most unique thing about this game is obviously this cross-platform multiplayer. And I think that maybe if you do have an iPad, or you've got a girlfriend or a sibling or just a housemate that has an iPhone or an iPad or whatever, being able to sort of have copies of this game to play co-op is kind of neat. I mean, you can do 2 players. You can also do split screen on the iPad, which is interesting. I don't know how many iPad games actually do that. I don't have an iPad. Well, my dad does, but hell if I know what he does with it. But whatever the case. That's kind of nice, actually. Although, it would be very, very cool to see more games actually have that functionality. I think this has got to be one of the first that does, because I don't know of any others. Sodding hell, it is tricky, though. My god, and this is only the 2nd level. I don't really know how much gameplay is in this game, and I think it would probably get boring after a while, but I don't know if I could really recommend it to anyone to play single player, because there are much better dual-stick shooters around. For instance, there are elements of this game that just seem very cheap, like every death is the same, like it has the same sound for everything, and it does get very repetitive. But people that are wanting something to play with their friend or girlfriend or whatever, using different devices and that cross-compatibility, sure, absolutely. You're not going to find all many games that can do that, and I think it would certainly be a serviceable sort of Ikari Warriors style shooter game. Kind of reminds me a little bit of Expendable, actually, on the Dreamcast. I think the perspective problems are a little bit awkward, but the graphic style does kind of make up for that. Okay, let's fight the boss. We'll see if we can get another gun, and then I'll do a quick conclusion. I say this is not going to be a very long video, simply because it's really late at night, and I wanted to just get a quick WTF out. I'm actually going to try and do a WTF Is every day. I think maybe, just maybe, that might be a little bit... I don't know. Would that be ambitious? Probably not. I think I can pull it off. Hell, if I can do now Azeroth Daily every day, I'm fairly sure I can do a quick recording of a random video game. It's not that hard. And I've got plenty to come. So, the Angry Scotsman clears the level. There we go. Got some cash. Right, buy new weapons at the shop. Okay, I can't compare this to this. Or is this just the same gun and I just want to upgrade it? Okay. Right, it now has 2 barrels. Intriguing. How much damage will this do? And will it look any different? Let's find out. Ah, there we go. It doesn't really fire 2 barrels worth, though, does it? Oh, well, does a crap ton more damage. So, a rapid and quick conclusion here, I think. We have played, I think, enough of Guerilla Bob to come to a quick conclusion. Nothing special, with the exception of that crazy cross-platform thing. I want to see more of that in games, I really, really do. I think that's very, very cool. It's kind of a shame that you have to buy multiple copies. If you own it for one system, you have to then buy it for another, although it is way cheaper on Android. I think that since, you know, I don't really... Is my gun overheating? Oh, I guess it was. Anyway, I don't really play a lot of games on my Android phone, but I could see me wanting to play a game like this on an iPad or an iPhone. On a PC, it doesn't really matter so much. What the hell is with my gun? Is sort of overheating and breaking or whatever. I guess so. Doesn't really have a really good visual indicator. It goes red, but I think it should have kind of a meter if it's going to do that. Or whatever the case. You know, this is the kind of game maybe I would buy for my phone or my iPad. I'd question buying it on PC, because for $10, I mean, there are better dual-stick shooters available. Quite a few, in fact. Things like Iron Assault. Obviously, Geometry Wars style games. Things like that. They work pretty well, but here, I don't know. For a PC game, probably not. Definitely for mobile device, though. Yeah, really nice style to it. Quite a bit of fun for co-op. There you go. My name is TotalBiscuit, and that was a look at Guerilla Bob. I'm going to bed. I'll see you next time.